Nobody tells you what hitting bottom actually looks like from the inside. It does not look dramatic. There is no rock falling, no single moment where everything crashes at once. It just looks like a Tuesday afternoon in a one-bedroom apartment in Savannah, Georgia, with the blinds shut at 2 in the afternoon, and a guy named Cole sitting on a couch that he has not left in 4 hours. Cole Henderson was 22 years old. 18 months earlier, he had been a freshman at Georgia Southern University on a partial academic scholarship. Good enough grades in high school to earn it, smart enough to get in. But college hit him like a wall he never saw coming. Not because it was too hard academically, but because for the first time in his life, nobody was telling him what to do. No teacher checking if he showed up, no parent watching if he studied, no structure holding him in place. And without that structure, Cole discovered something about himself that scared him. He had no idea how to run his own life. The first semester, he missed a few classes. Nothing serious, everybody does that. Then a few more. Then he stopped turning in assignments. Then he stopped opening his laptop. Then one morning in February of his sophomore year, he just did not go. Not to any of it. He withdrew from the university 2 weeks later, quietly. Almost like he was hoping nobody would notice. He moved into a cheap apartment in Savannah with a roommate he barely knew. Got a job bussing tables at a restaurant on River Street. Made enough to cover rent and food. And then, he just stopped trying, stopped planning. Stopped believing that any version of his life looked different from this one. His days had a rhythm, but it was the rhythm of a life going nowhere. Wake up around noon, scroll his phone for an hour, eat whatever was in the fridge, work the dinner shift, come home at midnight, watch something on his laptop until 3 in the morning, sleep, repeat. Weekends were the same, but without the work shift. He told himself he was resting, that he was figuring things out, that he just needed time. He said that for 11 months. Then one night in October, Cole was sitting in the back of the restaurant after his shift ended. The kitchen was closing down. One of the line cooks, a guy named Bernard who had worked there for 16 years, was wiping down the counters. Bernard was 51 years old. He had been wiping down that same counter since Cole was in elementary school. Cole watched him for a moment, and something cold settled in his chest. He drove home that night and sat in his car in the parking lot of his apartment complex for a long time. Not because anything dramatic had happened, but because he had looked at Bernard and seen something he did not want to see, a possible version of himself. Not because there was anything wrong with Bernard. Bernard was a good man, hard-working and decent. But Bernard had also mentioned once in passing that he had meant to go back to school at 30, then at 35, then at 40. And now he was 51 and the counter still needed wiping and the years had gone somewhere he could not quite account for. Cole sat in that parking lot and asked himself one question. What am I actually doing? Not in the dramatic movie way, the quiet way, the honest way. The way you ask a question when you already know the answer is not good and you have been avoiding it for almost a year. He did not have an answer, but he had something else. A feeling in his chest, like a door he had been leaning against for months, had finally started to open. He did not do anything dramatic that night. He did not make a list, did not call anyone, did not sign up for anything. He just made one decision. Tomorrow morning, he was going to wake up at 6 a.m., and he was going to sit at his kitchen table, and he was going to spend 1 hour, just 1 hour, figuring out what came next. That was the whole plan. He set an alarm, went to bed at midnight, and when that alarm went off at 6 the next morning, every single comfort in his body told him to turn it off. His blanket was warm. The apartment was cold. He had worked until 11 the night before. He was tired in the real way, not the lazy way. He got up anyway. He sat at the kitchen table, made coffee, opened his laptop, and stared at the screen for 11 minutes without typing anything. Then he searched 2 words. Trade school. Not because he had a passion, not because someone told him to. Just because his hands had always been good. He had fixed his own car twice using YouTube videos, rewired a broken outlet in his apartment when the landlord ignored him for 3 weeks, built a workbench in his storage unit from scrap lumber he found behind a hardware store. His hands knew things his resume did not say. He found a welding certification program at Savannah Technical College. 12 months, evening classes, total cost around $3,000. There was a workforce grant available for people in his income bracket that could cover most of it. He read the page 4 times. Then he closed the laptop, got ready for work, and spent the entire bus ride to the restaurant thinking about one thing. 12 months. He enrolled 3 weeks later. And here is where I need to stop and tell you something honest. Because this is the part of the story that most people skip. They jump from the decision straight to the success. They cut out the middle, and the middle is the whole point. The middle is where discipline actually lives. Cole kept his job at the restaurant. He had to. The grant covered tuition but not rent, not food, not the electric bill. So he still bussed tables 4 nights a week. And 3 nights a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, he went straight from his apartment to Savannah Technical College and sat in a welding classroom until 9:30 at night. He was always the oldest student in the room. Most of his classmates were 18, 19 years old. Some of them treated it like an extension of high school, loud before class, distracted during it. Cole sat in the front row every single time, not because he was naturally disciplined, not because something had magically changed inside him since that parking lot night, but because he had made a decision, and he had learned, slowly, that decisions decay if you do not feed them every day. So every morning he fed it. He woke up at 6, every morning, not just weekdays, every morning, including the mornings after closing shifts when he did not get home until midnight, including the Saturday in December when it was 38 degrees and the heat in his apartment was running slow. He did not do it because it felt good. He did it because he had decided to, and he had learned that the gap between who you are and who you are trying to become is crossed one kept promise at a time. Not big promises, small ones. The promise to wake up when you said you would. The promise to show up when you said you would. The promise to finish what you started when every comfortable part of you is arguing for reasons to stop. Those small promises, stacked day after day, become something. They become proof. Not proof to anyone else. Proof to yourself that you are someone who does what they said they would do. And that proof changes everything. Month 7, Cole was doing a lab session at the college, a supervised weld on a piece of structural steel. His instructor, a retired iron worker named Gary, who had spent 23 years on job sites across the Southeast, walked over and watched Cole finish the bead. Gary did not say anything for a moment. Then he said, "That is a cleaner weld than guys I have seen do this for 5 years." Cole looked up. Gary nodded once, went to the next student. That was it. 12 words. No ceremony, no applause. But Cole drove home that night thinking about those 12 words the entire way. A cleaner weld than guys I have seen do this for 5 years. He had been in a room where his hands finally mattered, and he had not known until that moment how long he had been waiting to be in that room. He passed his AWS certification exam on the first attempt, scored in the top 20% of his testing group. Gary referred him to a structural steel company in Pooler, Georgia, 2 weeks after graduation. Cole interviewed on a Thursday afternoon. Got a call Friday morning. $26 an hour. Full benefits. Health insurance for the first time in his adult life. He called his mother from the parking lot of the steel company. She did not say much at first, just listened while he explained. The enrollment, the late nights, the 6 a.m. mornings, the welding bead that Gary had stopped to look at. When he finished, she was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Cole, I want to ask you something, and I want you to be honest," he said. "Okay," she said. "When did you start believing you could do this?" He thought about it for a long moment. Then he said, "I am not sure I did believe it. Not at the beginning. I just decided to act like I did. And eventually, I stopped being able to tell the difference." His mother did not say anything for a few seconds. Then she said, "That might be the smartest thing I have ever heard you say." Cole Henderson is 25 years old today. He works as a certified welder at a structural steel fabrication company in Pooler, Georgia. He makes just under $60,000 a year. He has a truck he bought with cash. He has $4,000 in a savings account, the first savings he has ever had in his adult life. He moved out of the apartment with the broken blinds. He has a place now with a yard, a small yard, but his. He is not rich. He will tell you that clearly and without embarrassment. He is not anywhere close to rich, but he is free in a way he has not been free since he was a kid before all the uncertainty got in. He is not one missed shift away from not making rent. He is not lying awake wondering how next month looks. He has room, and he had almost forgotten what room felt like. Last spring, one of the younger guys at his job, a 19-year-old named Tyler who had been hired straight out of high school, pulled Cole aside one afternoon. Tyler said he had been thinking about quitting, that it was too hard, that he did not think he was cut out for this. Cole took off his helmet, looked at Tyler for a moment. Then he said, "Let me ask you something. When you got up this morning, did you want to come in?" Tyler shrugged. "Not really," Cole nodded. "Me neither. And I have been doing this for 2 years." Tyler looked confused. Cole said, "That is the thing nobody tells you about discipline. You do not wait until you want to. You just go. And after a while, going becomes who you are. And then you cannot stop, because stopping would mean becoming someone you do not recognize anymore." Tyler showed up the next morning, and the one after that. Now I want to speak to you directly. Maybe your life does not look like Cole's. Maybe you never dropped out of anything. Maybe your version of the Savannah apartment has a different address and a different smell. But I want to ask you one honest question. Is there a version of your life that you keep saying you will get to when things settle down, when the timing is better, when you feel ready? Because I want to tell you something about that version. It does not wait. Every day you are not moving toward it, you are moving away from it. Not because of anything dramatic, just because time goes somewhere. And somewhere, over enough years, becomes a very long way from where you started. Cole did not get lucky. Nobody showed up and changed his life for him. There was no inheritance, no connection, no break that came from nowhere. There was a parking lot in October, a guy named Bernard wiping down a counter, and one question Cole finally stopped avoiding. What am I actually doing? That question cost nothing. The answer cost 12 months of kept promises. And here is the truth about self-discipline that nobody likes to hear because it is not exciting enough to put on a poster. Discipline is not a feeling. It is not motivation. It is not a state you get into and stay in. Discipline is a decision you make every morning before your brain has had time to negotiate. It is the 6 a.m. alarm when you got home at midnight. It is the front row seat when the back row is warmer. It is finishing the thing when half finished feels like enough. It is showing up for yourself, quietly, when nobody is watching, and nobody would ever know if you didn't. That is the whole secret. Not a method, not a system, not a challenge, a decision, kept alive, one morning at a time. So here is what I want you to do right now. Not after you finish this video, not tomorrow, right now. Ask yourself that question, Cole's question, the one he asked in the parking lot at midnight in October. What am I actually doing? And then, whatever comes up when you ask that, whatever the honest answer is, I want you to find one thing, just one. Something small and specific and finishable. Something you can do today. Not plan today. Do today. Maybe it is making one phone call you have been putting off. Maybe it is looking up one program you keep saying you will look into. Maybe it is just waking up tomorrow at the time you said you would, and actually doing it. Write it down right now in the comments below. One thing, one finish, today. Because Cole did not change his life with a plan. He changed it with a parking lot, and one kept promise, and then another, and then another. That is available to you, right now, exactly as you are. The door is not locked. It never was. You are just deciding whether to open it. Go open it. If this story lived inside you, find one person who needs it tonight, not tomorrow, tonight. You already know exactly who that person is. Subscribe for a new real story every single week. Drop one word in the comments right now. Just one. Lost, stuck, ready, rebuilding. That word is your parking lot. I read every single one. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not too late. You already have everything Cole started with. Now you just need to start.